out there in YouTube land. Rival here. Thanks for stopping by. As you can see, we've got a little review on the turntable for you this week. It may surprise you to hear that, despite all the Hinderer, ZT models that I work on and some of the pimp jobs I've done on a lot of different Hinderer knives, this is actually my first Hinderer knife that I own from start to finish. So I was very interested to get into a trade that involved this Hinderer Knives MP1. So it's one of the new models that he displayed. I don't know if it was SHOT Show or Blade Show, but he had rolled out two new models. This being one of them, the other one being some like the half track, I think it's called. Very much working knives. So in the box, you've got the Hinderer Knives box. It came in a little baggy. You've got the world famous Hinderer Tactical Peanuts, a lanyard if you're interested in that. It came with a little card just hand assembled and tuned by one of the crew at Hinderer Knives. And then we've got the full titanium frame lock MP1. So this is the first initial offering of this new model. My understanding is that future offerings will probably be more traditional Hinderer-wise with like G10 scales, but this one is a full frame lock, so it is a big fatty. Weight-wise, it's not too bad. It came in at just under 5 ounces. Size-wise, 3.5 inch frame lock, Wharncliffe. I'll put all the full tech spec details in the description box below with all the exact measurements and exact weights. I'm kind of spotting it on off the top of my head for now, but to give you a physical size comparison, here's a 550, which is a 3.5 inch blade. Slightly under, it's like more like 3.3 inch blade. And then here is a ZT Hinderer 0560. Which is nearly a 4-inch blade, 3 3/4, I think technically. So you can see the handle substantially bigger. This thing to me, as soon as I opened the box, it felt like 0550 flipper. Handle's just a little skinnier here in the choil area. Thickness-wise, it's a little thinner in the titanium width. Blade stock is exactly the same. S35 VN steel is what this offering came in, made in the USA. So like I said, this is my first actual Hinderer, and one of the main reasons I hadn't gotten like an XM18 or something like that is because I've got my ZT versions and they got that was a limp flip. They got ball bearings. They're very snappy. The flipping action is spectacular, and I'll get chastised for it, but I'm not a big fan of the Hinderer's flipper setup, especially on the XM18. It's a little too soft for my taste. But this one, he modified his flipper just a hair to the point where it really does a great job flipping. It's not on ball bearings or anything like that, but it is great flipper. And I have not, retuned it or disassembled it or anything like that. I literally just got it in. I put 2 drops of nano oil on it, but it is got great action. And there's something to be said for a smooth flipper with great action that's not on ball bearings, which means the tolerances are fantastic and it's just really well made. And that's what this is. It's got Hinderer's working finish, so basically like a kind of a bead blast finish with a heavy tumble on it. So it gives you just a nice heavy stone wash, almost like an acid etch on the handle. So, for those of you guys who actually use your knives, there you can see some of the bigger, deeper scratches along with some of the smaller scratches, giving it that more traditional stonewash look. But there's a lot of deep cuts as well that are really going to hide things like, pocket patina, scratches from the change in your pocket, jingling around your knife, stuff like that. So I am a big fan of those working style finishes, those tumbled finishes, those beat up looks. It does have the filler tab, which would swap out with any XM18 filler tab, so you steel flame guys can still get your bling bling on. Same thing with the pocket clip. It's not reversible to the other side, but it is on the back side with your traditional stabilizer disc, and then your standard Hinderer pivot. There is not a steel insert on the lock face. My understanding is that the lock face is carbidized, though. There's absolutely no lock stick on this thing at all. It flips, Here I'm flipping it left-handed. It flips fantastic. I'll flip it middle finger. Flips fantastic. So they did a great job with this one. Handle design, you know, in my opinion, it's a little funky. It gets really fat at the butt. The butt sticks out well above the blade when it's in the closed position. Not necessarily a fan of that per se, but I'll tell you, in the hand, you know, these two fingers fit right up against this little curvature. Your pinky slides right in, your forefingers in the choil. You're locked into place because of the flipper tab. Not necessarily a forward choil, but it is a big enough sharpening choil. You can kind of get your knuckle in there without taking a stabby slicey, but I would only do that for really fine work, not any serious cutting. But it is a great setup for a working knife. The jimping is present. It's spaced out really far. Kind of thought it was for show. It's more like a gear pattern almost, but it's the corners are rough enough where it does catch. Especially with a glove on, it works great. And Hinderer is famous for his working designs. So with gloves on, this knife is still easy to operate, super fantastic. It does include his new modular backspacer system included with it. So it's a tie spacer. It almost looks like a floating spacer. You can see some light coming through that spacer there. See, there you go. Because what you've got is you've got these titanium standoffs. Now I don't have, it doesn't come with the tool, and I didn't run out to my garage to grab a tool, so I apologize. But there is a Torx, a really small, either Torx or Allen, nestled in there that tightens up against the standoff here. So what you can do is you can loosen that, and this backspacer pops right out, and you can order direct from Hinderer or on a couple of dealer sites. You can order replacement backspacers for these. Right now, the only two available are, it came with this one with a lanyard hole, and then there's another one with a bottle opener. So you can have a bottle opener installed on the bottom of your knife, because again, after a hard day's work, you need a beer. I've heard of, potentially glass breaker variations or other variations within it. I haven't seen them yet. But something that's rumored to be on the way, and he's got that modular backspacer system now that he offers for XM18 conversions as well, so that's pretty cool. It is, like I said, very much a traditional frame lock. One unique thing is that he eliminated some of his stop pins. There's a lot of stop pins on his XM18. This one, and I've only ever seen this done a couple of times well. Liang Ma's Warrior series uses this little trick too, but what he did here is, in addition to the thumb studs, he's got a stop pin press fit into the blade itself, and then inside the titanium he's got a milled track so that the blade stop as well as the stop pin on the rear are milled within the frame itself, so there's not an external stop pin or another piece that needs to go in there that could potentially get loose or jammed up or marred or anything like that. So I really like that idea and that system when it's executed well. And again, this is executed very well. Love the Wharncliffe style blade. It's got a nice belly on it. I'm a big sucker for a nice working Warnie. And that blade is going to allow you to, even with your hands, get in there and do some cutting on a flat surface. So I like working style knives. I like the working finish. So like I said, all in all, I was very impressed with this initial offering. I'd be very curious to see what it looks like when they start to do the, different scales. If he's going to offer carbon fiber scales, G10 scales, something like that. Right out of the box for this initial offering, I don't know how many there are. I heard that they were a limited first run. Oh gosh, what was I going to say? I don't know exactly how many there are, but I imagine in the very near future you're going to start seeing some more variety. This offering clocked in at just under $700. There are a few available on a couple of different websites still, so you can pick them up if you're interested in them, but because it's a full tie front scale in addition to that full tie frame lock, Hinderer, if you're buying a replacement XM18 scale, if you want a full tie front scale, that's 200 bones, so still reflected in the price. But all in all, $700 for what you're getting from the Hinderer factory with a fantastically improved flipping action, full titanium everything, the new modular backspacer system, and the ability to do bling bling with your steel flame and your Hinderer clips. I think it's a fantastic offering. So check them out, the Hinderer MP1. Thank you for stopping by this week. Like and subscribe. I got more videos on the way. Peace.